Okay, so my husband told me 2 years ago when I started this work, he goes, our garage and house isn't going to start filling up with composting stuff, is it? Okay, so they might be living in my laundry room. Nobody would ever know they're there, but here's why. They're quiet, they're mighty, and they are the best composters on the planet. Let me show you. So, would you like to come up?
Oh, I'd love to, yeah.
This is not what they look like. Come on, y'all. Right, you can see what I had for breakfast now. What we have are some paper blankets. I took my newspaper. Now, if any of you are squeamish, this isn't pretty, but it doesn't smell, and they're just quietly doing their job. Worms do not have teeth, so we give them eggshells, and that's what helps their tummies digest. Yeah, so they love eggshells. They're kind of finicky. They don't like onions or garlic, and they don't like citrus. So this is just shredded newspaper, and you're going to see a lot of coffee grounds. I love putting coffee in there for them.
So what happens if you put citrus in?
They don't eat it. It just sits there.
It doesn't get composted.
It doesn't get composted. Let's see if we can find them.
And no garlic.
No garlic, no onion. So you can see what I gave them last week. I gave them some sweet potato peels, some potato peels.
They're hiding.
They are, you know why? They don't like the light. Yeah. There we go. Look at them.
So where do you get the worms to begin with?
Well, you have a friend named Haley Preston at Desert Compost. I'm happy to share.
Well, doesn't the ink on the paper, doesn't that bother you?
You know what's really great about newspaper is about 30 years ago, they changed it to soy ink. Yeah. Yeah, so it's totally okay. But you're right, if you put glossy paper in there or something that's made with a lot of clay, they can't eat it.
No, I-
They'll eventually eat this. Yeah, no shiny paper. So you guys can see, I just made this. We have little screens. I mean, there's a bunch of systems online that people make and sell. This cost me $30. That's it. And they just sit there and you never know they're doing all their work. There's another
How
one.
long does it take? How often can you reuse that?
As much as you want. I dump them out on a tarp and I scoop up their castings and I put them in my tomato beds. So you can use them or you can be really lazy and they'll eventually, get a little crowded.
What does it take, a week, a month?
So they eat half their body weight in food every day. So if you think about that, it's not a lot.
Well,
But
how big will they get?
this is it. They make rabbits look lazy, so I'll warn you. They procreate quite well. But then again, now Meg is saying, sorry, not Meg, Diane. Diane is saying that she needs some worms. So you can get your bin started today. What's your name, sir?
Dean.
Dean. Okay, so Dean's gonna have some worms for you very soon. And then after Diane gets her worms, somebody's gonna find out that you're doing this and somebody's gonna want some, I promise you.
Different worms than I'm used to.
These are called red wigglers, so they do not live in our soil here. These are the worms that maybe you have seen somebody go fishing with.
So you have to keep them and just use the product that they produce.
Sure, yeah, or give it away. I promise you, if you know anybody that grows flowers or vegetables,
Well, my garden's just terrible.
well, this is your
Everything's
recipe.
died, even my palm tree died this summer, so.
Let's get you composting.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is one way to do it. Now, in the slides that you were given on paper, there's a couple pictures of the systems that are available. So if you have a small space or somebody out right here, out in front at the garden, there's a couple tumblers out there. And we could be building soil together with very
I
little
just
effort.
priced something like you have there online, and it's $59.
Oh, this is
And
just,
it's got,
yeah.
but it's bigger, and it sits on your counter, and it has a charcoal thing.
Okay, so this was $20. I found this online for $20.
Okay.
People also put them at thrift stores and things like that too, so you can
But
find
you
them
have
there.
those things that turn.
The tumblers are really great.
$300 or $400.
Yeah, they can be pricey, and people are giving them away a lot too. So if you share them, if you share with people, and maybe one of you gets a tumbler and you both use it, that's one way. It would be $50 instead of $100.
Now, where I live, in the apartments, when they take the compost, what do they do with it? Do they?
So they sell it to industrial agriculture.
To farmers?
Yes, and a lot of people are like, well, that's really, really great. Yes, it is a step in the right direction. You all have seen the way your recycling bin looks. There's a bunch of garbage in there. So somewhere in that compost is a sofa. You know it.
Yeah.
That's why we encourage you, build your own. You know what's going in there. You know what's coming out of your kitchen.
Do you have to put the newspaper in?
Yes, this is called their bedding. So we have to use the newspaper because this is what stays wet. They like wet and dark.
So you have to keep it moist? Do you
Yes.
Do you like water?
Yes, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to put the microphone down, but it's right underneath this. And I emptied the water today because it traveled in the car. So let me show you. So essentially, this has water in it normally. It's right about here, and it floats. It's got its own air conditioning. See the holes down here?
Yeah.
So it gives them ventilation, and it just sits here, and they do their thing.
Can you buy worms in a sporting goods store?
Can you buy worms in a sporting goods store? You can buy them, and they will end up in your mailbox. Can you believe it? But if you really want to do this, I'll just give you worms. We're fine. We're worm aplenty over here. So it isn't pretty,
This is your
but
own compost. What about
this is my
the
own.
ones that you?
the tumbler. And you know, we've got some pictures. Let's all go over to the table together. Let's see. We have our picture out. I'm going to find that and show you.
Thank you. Yesterday I made a stew and there's all kinds of.
What about chicken bones and ribs and stuff like that?
Bones and ribs. I want you to give that to your city. They will compost bones. Let me show you our systems. Here we go. Yes, let's open all of that. You can start whenever you're ready. Okay.